Hey, welcome, it's Cassie. Today we're gonna make a fake Easter extreme milkshake and it's gonna be super cute. I hope you guys are gonna love it. So the first thing we're gonna need is a glass, and I just picked this up at Dollar Tree. So the next thing that we're gonna need is some spackle, lightweight spackling. I use Fast and Final by DAP, that's my favorite. I like the consistency of this one and the color. So you can see it's a nice bright white. And I have a container here. So I'm gonna make this a strawberry milkshake. So I have a little bit already, but I'm gonna need to add to this. So I'm just gonna put some of my spackle into my container. And then I'm gonna use Cameo Pink as my color, but I'm also going to add another little bit brighter pink to make it just a little more vibrant. I want it to look realistic, but I also want it to have like a nice fun color to it. So I'm going to add some paint there. Then I'm going to add a little speck of this pink parfait, which is a really bright pink. So I don't want to add too much, but I just want to give it a little bit of a pop. And I'm just going to stir this all around. Okay, so now I am going to take my glass, and I've seen other people make milkshakes where they just paint the inside of the glass, and you can definitely do that if that's what you want to do. But I want this to look like a real milkshake, and I think this is the easiest or the best way to get this to look real. So I'm going to put some in the bottom because I'm going to be putting a toilet paper roll into the bottom here, sticking it into this. So I'm going to add a little bit of thickness in the bottom just to support that. And then I'm just going to go up the sides and coat the whole cup on the inside. And you don't have to do this too thick. Just make sure it's thick enough to not see through. And just kind of look on the outside of your glass to make sure that you're getting all the spots. And I don't worry about every little air bubble, because if you pour a shake into a glass, it's going to have some little air pockets and things like that. Like that just makes it look more realistic to me. So, you know, you do what you like, but I don't worry about every little air pocket. So for this one, I'm gonna make it look like there's drizzle coming down the sides of the glass. So I'm gonna do this to look like chocolate. So I'm gonna mix some caulk and some paint and some Mod Podge. So this is just caulk I got at the Dollar Tree. And then I'm gonna add melted chocolate. You could also use something like burnt umber if you wanted, or if you wanted it to be white chocolate, you can just leave it white. And then I'm adding gloss Mod Podge. And I'm just gonna mix this really well before our spackle dries. So this is just an empty toilet tissue roll. And I'm just gonna slide that down into the spackle that I put into the bottom of the container, being careful not to scrape up against the sides. And this is just going to hold the styrofoam ball that we're going to put the whipped cream on. Sorry, I forgot about that, and I didn't want the spackle to get too dry to where we couldn't put it in there. Okay, so now I'm going to put this caulk mixture into a sandwich bag, and I'm just cutting the Ziploc off because that gets in the way if you don't have a regular sandwich bag without the Ziploc. And then I'm just going to put my caulk right into here. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of push it over to one corner and then scrunch my bag up here. You can see the corner here doesn't have any caulk in it. We're going to cut the corner off, but be really careful. Just do the tiniest little bit. Otherwise, it's going to come out way too fast. So you just want a little bit to come out. And I'm going to take this around the edge of my cup. So just around the top edge. And I'm just going to let it drizzle down. So to make the drizzles, I just kind of hold it in one spot longer and squeeze. And then I'm going to go back and thicken up some of these areas where between the drippy parts. Okay, so these are styrofoam balls that I got at Dollar Tree, and so I'm going to sprinkle these on the chocolate just like sprinkles. So the next thing you'll need to do is glue your styrofoam ball onto your toilet paper roll. So I'm just going to put some hot glue on my toilet paper roll. And then I'll put some on the bottom of here too, just to be sure everything's nice and secure. And then just press it down. Be careful not to press your toilet paper roll down too far though. Don't press it too hard to where it's going to mess up your spackle inside of there. Now I'm going to show you why we're using the styrofoam ball. I made this one and I did not use a styrofoam ball, and as you can see, the whipped cream just completely went flat when I added all the things in there. So that's why we're using the styrofoam ball. Okay, so now we're going to get our whipped cream ready. So we're going to use our spackle again. And if your spackle is white like this one, you can actually just use it as it is. If it's got like a gray color to it, you'll want to add some white to it. So I'm just going to use this one as it is because it looks good. So I have a piping bag here, and I'm using an Open Star piping tip. You can use any piping tip you like. And I'm just gonna put the tip inside of my bag and mark where I want to cut it right above the lines, the openings for the star. So I'm just going to cut that off there. And then I can push my tip through there. Just make sure all your openings are past the bag. And then you can put this over a glass if you like. I'm just going to use my hand to make a cup. And then just fill it up with your spackle. And then just push your spackle down to the tip. I forgot to say, for the edge of this one, I just took my caulk mixture and I used my little knife and I just went around the edge with the knife and just made it kind of an even line instead of doing the drizzle. I just wanted to show you some different options. So that's how I did that one. Okay, so now we're going to add our whipped cream. So just be careful not to get your hand in whatever decorations you have around the edge there with the chocolate. So we're just going to go around, hold your piping bag at a 90-degree angle and just move around slowly. The slower you go, the more ruffly your whipped cream will look. If you move it fast, it kind of looks more like lines, like an ice cream cone does. Okay, so there's the whipped cream, and I want to put some sprinkles on. I'm going to do that right away because otherwise the whipped cream might get too dry and the sprinkles won't stick. So I made these little sprinkles here, and if you haven't watched my sprinkles, how to make your own sprinkles video, you should check it out. Okay, so now I'm going to start adding all my little decorations. So I'm going to start with some of the bigger ones first. So all these decorations that I'm going to add here, I have tutorials for on my channel. So if you want to know how to make any of these, just go check those out. I will link to all of everything that I'm using. I will link to those videos in the description for you and some of the end cards. So I think I'll start with this cake pop because it's pretty big. So I'm gonna just stick that into, I'm sticking it into the styrofoam. So all of these things I've added either a skewer or a toothpick so that they can just stick right into the styrofoam. And then fill in with these. And then these two small things, I didn't put a toothpick or anything because they're so light that they aren't going to make a difference as far as weighing it down or having it flatten out. And then I'm going to add a straw. I'm going to cut this in about half. And put the little straw in. Oh my goodness, isn't that so cute? Thank you so much for joining me today, for crafting with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you next time.